Hey everybody, welcome to episode 11 of Dickish at Best, where you can find us video form every other Friday on YouTube, and of course you can find us across all podcast services, major ones being Spotify, Apple, and of course Google. And if you do watch this and you do enjoy our content, even if you don't, give us a review, a like, a dislike on YouTube, whatever it is. Let us know how we're doing. If we do something you don't like, let us know. Chances are we're not going to care because we're dicks, but anyways,
dick-ish.
Yes. We also have a Patreon where you guys can get content real early if you want as well. We're still kind of working out some things there. And we have Blaze over here. I mean, just squeaking away at the mic. I hope that doesn't pick up.
That's not Blaze. It's a ghost.
That's a ghost.
That's fantastic for audio listeners because I guarantee that picks up.
Well,
I don't know.
Point. It's a ghost.
Oh, yes, because people who are listening to our podcast want to hear that. Anyways, once again, you can find us across all podcast services and YouTube, as well as checking out our Patreon. And if you do want to support us, leave likes and ratings. That helps us just as much as Patreon does. I'm Saul.
I'm Brett. Hey, nice to meet you.
Hey, Saul.
That's Blaze.
Like
birthday is address is driver's license number, social security number.
My driver's license number has 666 in it.
Hey, Blaze, I've been meaning to ask you something for a little while. What's your bank routing number, and what's your account number as well?
I don't have a bank. I keep the shit in the walls.
Daddy doesn't trust the banks.
That makes his address even more valuable.
Actually, I met somebody who moved here from Seattle the other day, who's dating someone who's originally from here. And they moved back, and I was messing with him because he was talking about that he lost $1,000. And I was like, well, how do you lose it? He's like, oh, I didn't lose it. He's like, I forgot that I had it in my safe. But at first, he was like, I lost $1,000. Like, how do you lose $1,000? Like, do you not trust the banks?
Did you gamble it away?
He looks at me and goes, actually, I don't trust the banks. I was like, fair enough. That's not a bad idea. But
like, if the banks collapse, like, isn't at that point the dollar means nothing anyways?
I mean,
cash.
The banks and the value of a dollar is separated.
Right, but I'm just saying, like,
most people have with the banks is that they are holding onto your money. They get to tell you when you can come get it, and they're making money off the interest, and not really. But you're getting a little tiny part of the interest.
Yeah, it's. I mean,
it's kind of like why a lot of people think 401ks are kind of schemy because they're using your money in stocks and
to make their own money.
So you're just loaning them money, and they're giving you little bits of the fruit.
Well, you get back lots of the fruit whenever it comes time to cashing it out.
Well, but
what he's saying
is that they are using, because the amount you're making from your percentage gains is most likely just minimal compared to how much they're making off of. Because they wouldn't get those stocks without your money in it.
Yeah, but isn't that just
kind
of the
adult conversation?
The cost to pay for the fee of that company managing your account for 40 plus years?
It's your money, and they tell if you try to take it early, they take a huge chunk out of it.
Yeah.
Now that one's a little different. That one I don't really agree with, but I think that the other stuff is just pretty much the way that the banks for that specific.
Well, you can have your own 401k and you can manage it yourself. You don't have to pay somebody to manage it. Most people do because most people don't understand it very well.
Yeah.
But if you wanted to run your 401k and choose which stocks you put it in where, it still comes down to it's not your money to access at any given time. It's still, there's some play in there. And that's
just money in general. Something my dad always said was, it's never your money, it's just your turn to spend it.
Mm. And that's why we chose this scary topic early on this spooky podcast.
This is terrifying. Yeah.
For the audio listeners, we have, a pumpkin.
I employ our audio listeners to come check out our set on YouTube, even if it's just for this episode, because this is going to be our October set for the remainder of the month. You guys will only see it twice, but if you like Triangle Squared, you get to see it 4 times total. And
then with this one, 6 altogether. So if you just watch them both, you're getting all the spooky things.
And like I said, let us know in the comments and of course across podcast services on ratings, and let us know. People think that donating $1 on Patreon.
We fucking hate your set. It's stupid.
Is worth it, but hey,
you know what?
I could have done better with $25 at the fucking Walmart.
Yeah, this was $30 at Walmart, so I dare you to try.
You went to Walmart, not the Dollar General?
I went to Dollar Tree, and the only thing that the Dollar Tree had was that skull.
I said Dollar General.
I didn't have
just
time.
$1. You should have went to Just. Does that still exist?
Dollar Tree is essentially that.
But
no, just $1.
I don't know if we still have one because the one we had was
isn't like a convenience store. It's just a store with random.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
The one behind Dixie Diner.
Yeah,
or what was?
I don't know that it's still over there.
I don't know. I think it's a party place now, like Balloon.
Well, I mean, just $1 was already kind of half a party place. You go there and get really crappy like pirate swords and
decorations
paper
for
plates.
Kids who don't know the difference.
Right? I mean, a shitty $1 scimitar looks the same as like a nice.
Scimitar?
What do y'all call them?
Scimitar.
I call them skimmies.
I call them
RuneScape.
scimitars too.
I'm pretty sure that's the proper way to say it.
Scimitar.
I don't know. Anybody who ever plays RuneScape calls them skimmies. But
Well, RuneScape was for
excuse
Virgins.
me, you fucking World of Warcraft vanilla playing nerd.
#1 game on Twitch.
Oh,
For what? What would you say? You say
I say for like about a month now.
I think I would say for like a couple
No,
days.
dude. No, it's a couple days it broke records.
Yeah.
yeah. Look, I give shit to World of Warcraft because it's just not my type of game. Because it's the same as any
But
other
which
game
one's
like
more
that.
memey, like in RuneScape or like in
RuneScape.
this one? That's the
Honestly,
that's why
I don't
meant-
know which one's more.
I
That's
think
why I'm
World of
messing with
Warcraft
you.
is more normalized or
You don't hear about
I-
stuff about.
I don't wanna say
like the
normalized,
RuneScape
but-
girlfriends and
buying girlfriend.
Those are memes for RuneScape players, really. Though
No,
those don't really actually make sense to people who don't. Which the same.
that's-
it makes sense to
you-
gamers.
The same is true of some people and things like that. But I mean, to an extent,
I mean, I
guess.
never played RuneScape, and I get the jokes on it.
Yeah,
I mean,
I've seen more RuneScape jokes or memes than
Yeah,
World of Warcraft.
I mean, I definitely. I mean,
The only you
RuneScape
only
was
got about
free
two-
well before too. You know, so more people got a chance to even
South
play
Park
it.
created probably the 3 WoW memes there are. So
That's also true.
you
Yeah,
got
That's
them-
one- that's
you got
one of
them
my
like
favorite-
this. You got the big balding guy with the wrist.
That's one of my favorite South Park episodes ever, if not my favorite episode.
that
I
scene
really
where he
would like
calls
to-
his mom in and he shits
shits
in.
it.
Oh my god.
Yeah,
I'd like to know the numbers of how much that was streamed on Hulu and their website after the classic came out.
oh, it has to.
Oh,
be
because
in the
the
millions.
first guy that was streaming the speedrunner to hit 60, he had "Live to Win Till You Die."
Yeah, already a little tie into it. You know, while we're on the topic of TV stuff, this is something that just recently happened that I guess I don't understand the fury behind it, I guess is the best way I can kind of. There's just an uproar about Martin Scorsese. And I don't know if anybody, I mean, I'm sure that
what
you
he
do.
said about Marvel.
What he said about Marvel.
Yeah.
And it's weird. So the situation for anybody who doesn't know is that there was an interview with Martin Scorsese, and the interviewer was asking Martin how he felt about the Marvel movies. So, of course, he responded with his thoughts. I don't like the precarious nature of that mic cord. Anyway.
You do like the word precarious here lately.
I do like the word precarious. Anyway, he was responding to what he thought about Marvel movies, and he said, essentially, he said they're not the same kind of cinema that he deals with, and he went as far, I think the quote was taken out of context. I think he actually said it's not the cinema of having, two people and the relationships between them and what they mean. It was what he essentially was saying is it's not the cinema of like personal, real world situations, which is more of what he delves in and what he deals with. And I understand that, yeah, that's not necessarily completely fair to some other things. But and then he said that they're like theme parks. He said if he had to say that the closest thing that he views them to is that they're theme parks. And I actually 100% agree with that, and don't even take it entirely as like a hit against Marvel. I guess my idea here is all three of us probably have wildly different opinions about Marvel anyway, and the way they do their movies. But I guess what I'm trying to understand is how closely do y'all think that that's actually a crazy thing to say?
Well, I mean,
to me, it sounds...
it's made to be a visual treat.
Yeah.
The plot lines aren't really in depth. If you really break them apart, the plot line's really in depth.
Well, and
I mean, if you just be honest with yourself, you can love the movies. There's nothing wrong with liking the movies,
exactly.
and they are still a form of cinema. A lot of people are trying to take what he said as they're trash or something like that. No, it's not, or that it's. He's trying to compare it to an art. This is a guy that this is a completely different style of movie. These are getting popped out once, twice a year. They are very effects heavy. Very just they just. I mean, you don't really think.
90% of the movies aren't green screen.
Do you think after you watch a Marvel movie?
No.
Except on the big ones where, that was kind of interesting. You never. It's not one of those movies where you go out and you're kind of thinking on your drive home, like, because there's some movies you do that with.
Yeah, absolutely, and none of them have been superhero movies. And so to remove that from Marvel.
I mean, because
superhero
you go to watch
movies
that,
at
there's a market for it. That's why they're so successful. You go there, it's kind of like certain video games. You go there, turn your brain off, watch the pretty colors, shit blows up. Oh, that's pretty. Look at that backflip.
Well, and the storylines do matter in terms of what you're going through, but they're not in the grand scheme of things. Like you said, they still are not just thought-provoking. Yeah. I never left any Marvel movie or any superhero movie.
There was never any plot. People like, holy shit. You know what I'm saying? There's never been just like a crazy plot device, and it's all been fairly just do.
Well, and then the one that I think they got the closest on, they completely undid with Endgame. Like, they built up in Infinity War. They actually went through building up Thanos as the most interesting villain of any of the movies so far, because he's the perfect villain that you understand a little bit of, like, oh, okay, technically what he's talking about is fucked up. He just wants to kill half of all living things, but that's because he suffered through it himself, and he understands that, killing half the things, while it doesn't sound great on paper, is still a real solution to a problem, but it's a solution to a problem that none of us want to have to think about because we give value to life. So it was probably one of the more nuanced villains, but it's still not like it's the most.
He also was the only one that was given any screen time during those last few movies. The only one that's, they had to. You build up this guy for...
The villain was built up over multiple movies, whereas most villains in the Marvel movies are built up in one movie.
And they have
torn
to be
down
defeated.
in one movie.
Yeah, they have to be defeated in one movie.
In the context of this conversation, I have his full quote here, because all I saw was he said that Marvel is not cinema.
No, saw that was...
And again, I think that's taking his quote out of context.
Yeah, that's
the clickbait title.
That's why I'm providing... Well, no, I couldn't... I went to 3 articles before I found this one that actually showed the full quote. That was the name of the article.
That's
it's media, dude.
Yeah, it's clickbait.
Yeah. Well, no, I'm saying, you would think that in those articles they would give his full quote, but they don't.
Yeah, they don't want to, because it pulls away from the narrative they're trying to get, because it drives clicks. I mean,
right.
There's a lot of people like the Marvel movies.
And what he said was, quote, "I don't see them. I tried, but that's not cinema. Honestly, the closest I can think of them, as well made as they are, with actors doing the best they can under the circumstances, is theme parks. It isn't cinema of human beings trying to convey emotional, psychological experiences to another human being," unquote. And to be fair, I do think that's a little uppity to say about his stuff, because there's movies of his that don't do that at all.
I mean,
they don't convey that at all. So, I think it's a little snobby to say.
And it's all up for interpretation is the other thing.
I didn't walk out of Wolf of Wall Street and be like, oh, yeah, that was he did all that and all. Yeah, no, Wolf of Wall Street was essentially...
I couldn't finish Wolf on Wall Street. I didn't like it.
I mean...
Yeah, and that's the thing.
That's more of a fun time than what, it's comparable to a movie style of Marvel than something like Taxi Driver. Or
which is Martin Scorsese.
Redemption.
Yeah.
And
what's weird about that?
Not Martin. But
what's weird about that is that's what I was getting at. This is me not understanding the uproar as somebody who's not even some kind of Martin Scorsese junkie. I don't even watch that many movies. I've seen plenty of his movies, and he obviously he tries, and he does something so different.
Movies.
Yeah.
Taxi Driver's one of them. Most
of the big mob movies are very much his. So Taxi Driver,
I've never watched it.
There's a new one.
It's older. It's like 70s. He's been doing this for forever.
That's one of the things that I hear about the Joker, is that pulls a lot from Taxi Driver.
Yes, and another 70s Scorsese film.
I don't have any interest to watch that either.
Actually, my interest for the Joker was nowhere until that most recent trailer, and then it went up because I was like, this. Honestly, of any kind of movie that's in relation to superheroes, I think Joker's going to be one of the only ones that's been put out that actually will stop and make you think about it when you're done.
I hate the whole stigma it's getting now of oh, well, this is the incel movie. Fuck off! It's literally a telling of a superhero, and people are like, oh, well,
or
it's
a super villain rather,
or a super villain, yeah. But people are saying, oh, well, it's going to be one of those that's going to drive people to go do this. No, I've seen more articles say that than what you think you're implying. It seems almost like the media is trying to egg that into play instead of that actually being a real thing.
And Joaquin Phoenix has been pissed about it.
Yeah, it's a shitty thing to do, and it's I don't understand why media think that. That's a smart thing to do, of course, other than driving their own business, because then they will be reporting on anything like that happens.
Well, because by them saying it, they might drive somebody to do it themselves by putting the idea out there. And then when it happens, then they get to double dip back into the article and go, look, we were right. This thing happened.
Yeah. And my big thing, too, is that I've seen people say, oh, it just wants you to sympathize with the destroyed white man who commits crimes. It's you should sympathize with anybody who has mental illness to understand mental illness and to help understand mental illness.
And one of the best parts of that new trailer is when he's sitting on the bus and the kid's playing with him and he looks happy. And he's playing with the kid, and then the mom turns around and be like, what are you doing? Essentially, don't play with my kid.
Yeah.
Look, this fucking nerd.
And you don't sympathize with them after the fact, but you sympathize on what made him do the things he did.
Yes.
And you understand.
And those are great villains.
Yeah, and you understand that from a humanistic standpoint. You don't go into a movie, say, Radio is a good example. That entire time you watch Radio, you feel sympathetic for Cuba Gooding Jr. because the entire time is that you are sympathizing with his character. You're seeing that he is taking these things that are wrong with him and he's overcoming them. And that's not to say that's what the Joker's doing, but I'm just saying like you can still sympathize with someone on how they turned out to be who they are. That doesn't mean that you yourself is an evil person just because you sympathize with them before they did that. That's like saying I felt sorry for this homeless dude because he was homeless and then he shot somebody up. It's just like, I'm not saying what he did was just, but I'm saying that, yeah, you could understand his problems before he did something like that. That doesn't make you a supporter. And that's a weird big thing that people are saying that.
Sympathy towards something that is bad somehow means that you endorse it.
Yeah.
I've never understood that.
Yeah, and there was another thing that happened not too long ago that people are like, oh, well, you're just supporting that. Oh, the big old Twitter post that went viral saying that if you eat at Chick-fil-A, then you support anti-LGBT rights.
Well, that's a fucking stretch.
Yeah, it's like, well, you're
goddamn,
giving money.
This chicken sandwich is so good. I can't wait to go fucking punch it.
Well, no, they say that what you're doing is you're giving money to the owners of that restaurant who actually fund anti-LGBT organizations. Well, it's like, okay, what's your plan?
The gay people love chicken sandwiches too.
Well, actually, they actually stated in that tweet, they're saying, and I can't wait to see all the closeted homosexuals who come out saying that they eat that chicken and for me to shut up.
Well,
it's like, okay,
here's a bigger thing. This is a real thing around here. Our Chick-fil-A employs at least two homosexuals.
Two of them are gay, and I've talked literally Friday night. We were like sitting in line, and that dude, you know how our lines are here. They last forever while you order.
Yeah.
When you get up towards the window, it starts going faster. Like that dude literally sat there after he got done taking our order and talked to us for 5 minutes as we sat there, and we had a good time talking to him. And
I guess you should say, well, how the fuck do you know he's gay? But I mean, honestly,
no, trust me.
I've had multiple conversations with one of the guys, and I know for a fact because we've talked about it.
Well, no, I'm saying, trust me, like in some of the conversations we were having, he alluded to his husband. Or he didn't allude to his husband. He was talking about his husband. Alluding means that he was being around the bush around it. But no, he specifically said my husband.
Yeah, so. But that, I mean, I don't know. That one's weird. I guess I've never understood that just because you support, I don't know. I guess the bigger thing is, why does Chick-fil-A not being like...
Then you need to quit supporting Disney movies, which means you need to quit supporting Marvel movies because they've done all sorts of fucked up shit.
No, absolutely.
Yeah, Disney's done some of the most racist shit and
then they try and gloss over it.
Yeah.
I actually watched a video the other day that kind of made me...
Look at this anamorphic CGI movie.
Yeah. Well, I don't need to drink soda anymore.
People pick and choose which ones are easy because that's...
well, they pick and
it's
choose
easy to make that one a
with.
villain because they're a Christian thing. They don't support the LGBT. They must be they they go after that. They witch hunt that. But a big corporation that happens to make things they like that isn't as easy. No,
of course
they don't attack.
You're blinded by the shit that you like. So if you think you can live without Chick-fil-A's chicken, but you're like, but I fucking love The Lion King. It's one of my favorite movies ever. It's like, well, fuck all the bad shit that Disney did to get to where it's at, and fuck the bad shit they're still doing.
Well, not only that,
like buying every other fucking company in existence.
Not only that, but if you literally took yourself and your priorities and your beliefs, and you boycotted each community or each
you wouldn't
company,
have anything to enjoy.
Oh yeah, you'd be nothing.
You'd be butt naked. You'd be hungry 24/7. You would probably die of dehydration. Maybe not that one because water is pretty much free, but you would be
go stand outside the rain.
So much. Most ironic is the person who made that tweet kept saying from iPhone. Tweeted from iPhone.
Yeah, you're not worried about the little Chinese kids.
Yeah, the child slavery that's getting the minerals for those phones being made.
Now,
but you're worried about chicken in America where people don't want to go to a chicken restaurant because they support gay communities. But you're worried about that problem and not the other problems.
Because it's not relevant.
Well, now I will say
they don't
this.
have they're not a Chinese kid.
If you don't want to eat Chick-fil-A,
well, it's not relevant. It's
not relevant to them, is what I'm saying.
Right.
It is absolutely relevant.
Well, it's like people take Greta Thunberg's comment out of context and say, like, you ruined my generation. And people post that.
Or my childhood.
Childhood. And people post, like, pictures of, like, other slave children with, like, doing their slave, like, labor. People are like, oh, yeah, your childhood's so ruined. But what her full context is that she actually says that, like, my childhood may not be better than most, but you've definitely ruined it. And, like, she wasn't alluding to all childhood. Like, you ruined every child's childhood because of this. But it's one of those things that, like, they literally pick and choose comments out of that.
That includes us too. I mean, I know that even us three are not as politically engaged as we probably could be. So reading shit like that is really like, well, you just kind of have to go off of what the people say. So it's easy to think.
I know. I always do. I always look into it. Just like I wouldn't go just off that one comment from Martin Scorsese. Like,
absolutely,
there's a full context there that people don't seem to be caring
that
to find.
People often are looking to subvert.
It doesn't fit their narrative.
People are trying to be very not controversial. provoke controversy.
Dude,
Not
this
controversial,
has to
but
be-
provoke controversy.
we're just fucking bored.
Same word, but
And I think people take the fact that
need
we're
something
bored
to
and we
read while they're
don't
pooping.
do anything important. And I've said this so many times, but that's true. And I know that that's not a unique thought.
If you're
but
not,
it is
you're not
true.
struggling. You're not struggling for. Well, most people are not struggling for food. I mean, they might. Their
Most
problems might be
Americans.
paying their rent.
Yeah.
And typical things people worry about. But all in all, they don't. It's not like, well, where am I? The food's still there. They still have.
Yeah.
That's a hard way to word because there are people who don't get as much food as they'd like. There's, there
well,
are
they
people in
should.
poverty,
Yeah.
but the food still exists. It's not like, hey, if I don't go outside and do this for 13 hours today, me and my kids are going to starve.
Yeah.
That doesn't exist in modern American society.
Yeah, and like back in the day when you'd have to literally hunt for 7 days to,
to
catch up with some endurance hunt.
You're worried about real life, shit to keep you alive, as opposed now it's just. Well,
and
you get home
the
after your
chance
9 to
of a
5
beast.
that you're using to pay your bills, and you're just like,
well,
either I'm going to watch
the chance of a beast killing
either
you.
watch media, read media, or play a game, or to hide from media. Which you can argue that there's media in games too.
Yeah, of course.
If you
I mean, games are essentially.
Well, you know what I mean,
The
like-
grander scheme of media, but yeah, I mean, everything is some form of media, more or less, because it's creation
so you're still,
from someone.
so people do that. They are bored. I mean, because
Yeah.
that's pretty much. It's like, well, you get home to your apartment. It's like, well, I want to go outside, but there's all these other fuckers out there.
I mean, that's yeah.
And it's like, well, or I don't have the money because I have to pay for this apartment. I don't have the money to go do anything just real
Too
fun.
frivolous. Yeah.
So I'm gonna get on the computer
Well, even
and
the
read
things
what
that we
these
do
people
that
have
are
to say about
frivolous.
the movie. Because I'm looking forward to this movie. This is the one free time I get.
Then you choose a side on how you feel about the movie. So if
Because
someone,
I'm
if
gonna
one
go, fuck
person's
him,
shitting,
I'm gonna go see it.
Yeah,
You know,
or you go,
and that's what they,
fuck that movie. I'm not gonna go
here's the
see it
thing,
anymore.
that's what they want you to do. Like
Yeah.
I feel like those people behind those movies even kind of support that because it's like, well, I gotta go see this. If there's some of this, I gotta see if this bullshit's true.
Well, and that's why I remove myself from all that. Like, I could not care less if they have like people always said like Captain Marvel had this anti-men undertone to it that like people all were saying that that's one of the worst things.
From what I saw from most, it was people saying that Brie Larson, not
Brie
the
Larson,
movie, but that Brie Larson herself, when promoting the movie, was, and I don't know if this is, I mean, it's hard to say, but yeah,
that's pretty much it.
Like
yeah.
Brie Larson was giving a tone of
therefore you
anti-men.
use Brie Larson as the extension of Captain Marvel.
Yeah,
That's
yeah,
all- I'm talking-
exactly.
yeah.
I mean, it's true because it's hard to separate the art from the artist, even though it's
Right.
not her creation.
Yeah.
She didn't write the movie. She didn't direct the movie.
And
she
that's
didn't
like
edit the movie.
She could be a shitty person or whatever, and like you can like I always implore people to vote with your wallet, choose what you do and don't want to do. But the thing is that like you got to remove yourself from a lot of this kind of stuff too, because you're just going to become so jaded because you're going to be talking about, oh, I can't go see the Joker because now I'm going to be seen as a white supremacist, or people will say that like, oh, I can't go see Captain Marvel now because she hates men and she doesn't deserve my money, kind of thing. Because you're jaded at that point. Like, vote with your wallet smartly and confidently. If a company does something that you don't agree with, or if
I guess to me, it's like the parading thing. It's kind of, so what you're kind of talking about is like people do it so they can show it outwardly to other people. So even though
Somewhat,
I'm technically
yeah.
going to do that here, this is just an example of something that's so far removed at this point that it doesn't matter. Now I've talked to my friends about it a few times. I think I said something to Blaze about it. When they recast Louis C.K. in Secret Life of Pets, I was just like, I don't agree with that. I know that what Louis C.K. did was not perfect.
What did he do?
But really? You don't remember the thing that came up about a year and a half ago during the whole Me Too movement where some
never
comedians
mind.
talking about that he was
I can't remember now. I
masturbating
thought
in
this
front
was
of them.
something-
And as far as every
He got
story
his-
we gotten
he
told,
even got his movie canceled too, or well, not canceled, but it got like taken away from theater release or something. The
I don't
one
know.
with Chloe Grace Moretz in it.
oh, I don't know. But either way, my point is that it's a situation that by all accounts that we can look and read that are not media influence as much as possible, it's a fucked up thing that he did, but every time he asked for permission, and then these are people that either said yes because they felt the pressure, which is unfortunate, but they still said yes, and you get into this weird thing of like consent's a real fucking weird thing, but essentially everybody was consenting and they felt uncomfortable afterwards because of course you're going to feel uncomfortable. Somebody just fucking jerks in front of you. I get that.
Yeah.
But that doesn't, to me, mean that
You get uncomfortable from that?
Yeah, I do that all the time. I mean,
I like it when people jerk in front of me.
yeah. But the thing about that was like, well, I don't believe that means that he should never be able to work again. So whenever they changed the voice actor in Secret Life of Pets 2, after doing a trailer that had Louis C.K.'s voice in it for the teaser, then they went back and recast it as Patton Oswalt because of the stuff going on. And now they have every right to do that. Just like I had every right, even though I enjoyed the first one immensely, I had every right to go, I don't want to watch the second one because I don't agree.
I get
with
that
them
because that's a
his-
sensible disagreement there.
Yeah,
and that's
I'm
one
not
of those
upset
things
that I'm disappointed that they didn't recast him,
and that's one of those things too that for me is like.
but I'm not upset.
That wasn't that wasn't made by them because it was a trailer that released, which tells me his all lines were recorded, which then tell me it was an audience outcry that they changed it for, and that's not where companies should be listening to.
Or a worry of the audience outcry. Because that's the other
Well,
thing.
they released it with it, right? So there was no worry.
Well, the trailer was already out before the stuff
he
blew
was
up.
already in the movie
okay,
before.
I see what you're saying.
It
I thought you
happened
meant that-
amidst.
Yeah.
Okay, I thought you meant
they were already in the business of teasing the movie.
Gotcha.
When
I
the
thought
stuff came out.
you meant this movie had released a trailer for it, and people were like, "Oh no, Louis C.K. was back in this movie," and then take it out, and they took it out.
Yeah,
It's one of those things.
That's
Okay.
not how it happened. So
Gotcha.
it was a fear of audience outcry, or an actual audience outcry. I mean, I didn't see it,
And it's,
but
well,
a lot of time it is a fear.
it's like what happened to James Gunn. Like, yeah, you're gonna go pull out old tweets from like 7 years ago and then use them
shit's
against
wild.
him. Yeah, it's just like, dude, he apologized for it back then. Why fire him for what he's doing now? Like, that's where it's gonna get real dangerous, and people are just gonna say something stupid one day, and it's gonna be brought up 10 years later, and it's gonna be like, why'd you do this? And then people around them with the same mob mentality are gonna get those canceled.
Fuck that.
People are going to pull up your podcast 10
Deep
years
fakes are the
from now.
bigger problem. That's the thing. Deep fake, because look,
That's
you know
gonna
what?
become a law.
My thing is, if I said something, I can deal with the fact that, hey, I said it. It doesn't mean that I'm that exact same person now. That doesn't mean anything. You can change within the time period, you know?
Yeah.
For some reason, for me, the expectation that Kevin Hart, who tweeted some joke about homosexual people or whatever, or his kid being homosexual, whatever he did 8 years ago, 7 years ago, whatever it
Well,
was,
and
and
it's-
to now, Kevin Hart's not the same person he was 8 years
And
ago.
what makes me mad is that people like, sure, like that's an out of taste joke or tweet or whatever, but like people who often go through this cancel culture movement, they don't take the time to educate somebody on why they said what was wrong. Like, oh, they're an adult, they should know better. That's not every little case that happens, though.
Even outside of that, it kind of goes back to like, did you see the uproar about the whole beginning of It 2? Because
Yeah, that pissed me off.
in the beginning of the actual It book, or during the beginning of that section or whatever
Yeah.
in the actual It 2, that's a book for book almost entirely seen. But in our common culture now, just telling a story about something that's very accurate. So, you know,
Well,
it takes place in the 80s.
It's meant to make you feel bad for it, and like not feel bad. It's hard to watch. It's
Yes,
just like
it's meant to
watching.
be.
It's just like watching something like a movie about racist stuff.
Yes.
It's hard to
Yes.
watch because that actually not the part
It's
about getting
accurate.
ate by the clown, but
Yes, yeah,
but
no,
like the
yeah,
actual the violence towards it is supposed to make you feel a certain way. That's the point of it. It's not saying, you know, because, and it's also in a town where people are generally fucked up due to
whatever's going on. Yeah, in the fiction.
You know, it's feeding off of that's what their fear was. That's because that's what it feeds off of is, you know, their biggest fears. That's what their big. So that's representing people had to actually live with that being their biggest fears. They're going to get the, you know, for being in love with someone, they're going to get the shit kicked out of them like that.
And for context of what we're talking about is that in the very beginning of the second It movie that came out in 2019, there was this gay, was it a gay black couple?
No.
It was just that's right. It was just the gay couple that got killed.
Yeah.
And people were outcrying
Well,
about
it
that,
wasn't
saying,
they
hold on.
got killed. It was a very brutal.
well, yes.
It was.
I'm not spoiling anything. That's what I'm trying to avoid.
no,
Well,
I
you
mean,
can't
this has
talk
been
about it without
this
at least doing
this
that.
has been discussed.
It's the very beginning
I'm
of the
not
movie. I
trying
don't
to
think
get
it's
into-
spoilers.
I'm still not trying to get into details on what happened
Well,
because of spoilers.
we just
It's
need
a
to shut
movie
down the
about a
conversation.
30-year-old book.
Yeah, but people haven't read that 30-year-old book.
This
Okay.
is-
And it
Anyway,
wasn't in the original movie.
Anyway, we're already
either.
talking about it. So if you, I mean, skip forward if, for God forbid, you haven't seen it, if you're actually interested in it. But it's just, you know,
I don't
it was
think
a
it's
brutal.
crazy to say-
They got jumped, a brutally beating of it because these homophobic people beat this
Yes.
gay couple.
That's all we have
Yeah,
to technically
that's
say.
not-
Gotcha.
There's a lot more to it than that.
I thought he was
That's
gonna go. I thought he was gonna go further, but yeah,
Well,
and people were outcried because they said that the gay people were a target. Well, yeah, that's the point of the story is
because
that
that's the fear
what
that they live
happened.
with is
yeah.
that just walking down the street. They're
It's
gonna,
worse to ignore that point in the book strictly because I don't want to do that because it's gay
we
people. And
talked
instead of
about
actually,
this scene actually.
Yeah, we
You
talked
weren't
about
here.
oh well, yeah.
You're never here.
You're
You're
always
just like my
gone.
father.
Well, if we actually could start recording on time.
These are weekends in a row that you just had other plans.
I didn't have other plans. I always have grocery shopping, but I get here at 1. I always go grocery shopping on Sundays. That's how we get our weekly stuff.
People are enthralled
Look,
about
it doesn't
this.
matter.
Anyway.
Look, the point is, and what Blaze was getting at, and you have to at least say something about that part. But you're right.
To sum up what we said is just, once again, what we just said a while ago is it's meant to be hard to watch, supposed to be thought-provoking.
Yeah. The bigger thing for me that I find weird that people just completely ignore too is that, isn't that fitting? You know, this is something that's talking about. This is a book rather that was written in the 80s. You know, or written actually in the 70s. I can't remember when.
I think it's late.
Okay, it was either way. It was written in a time period where the 80s, specifically for homosexuals in America, was a crazy period because media was blowing up on all the AIDS stuff that was very much targeted towards homosexuals. So it was a time in which homosexuality was on blast.
Right.
Because of fear of homosexuality, trying to understand homosexuality, all these things.
So I said y'all talked
someone
about this.
writing a book about that is not that surprising. We talked a little bit about it, but
okay.
Either way, I guess that's what's weird to me is that you can't even have stories about some of these things. But I mean,
well, because that's just how they interpret it. You know, it's like, oh, it has to be something negative.
Well, it's like the Dave Chappelle stand-up. For some reason, you know, he says it's like him making jokes about them is treating them on equal ground, because if he would make a joke about someone else, then why would he not also make a joke about them? And you can say, well, maybe it's lopsided. I don't know. But the other thing is that when you make jokes about certain things, all you're doing is bringing light to them. You're bringing light to them in a way that's humorous and can get you to laugh, but it doesn't mean that people aren't going to leave and think, oh, yeah, just like that scene. You're doing it in a way that's going to get a more visceral reaction out of somebody. But the idea is that it does bring more, you know, awareness to an issue. And that's real. I mean, I guess all stories are supposed to be made up of things that actually can happen in a given thing in life. And that's what makes them compelling, is not only the good things that can happen in life, but also the struggles of life in any given person or thing. But either way, I guess we got real removed from the point of the Marvel movies.
We're talking
versus
about spooky topics. Spooky.
So, yeah, to say we're going back with Martin Scorsese, I think it's something that's pompous to say, but it's his opinion, so let him say it.
Yeah, and I just don't think it's that crazy, I guess, either.
Yeah.
To think that somebody who's been making movies for longer than some of these people have been alive.
Well, I think to sum up what we were talking on it is that why does it matter if that's his opinion? People are making it, trying to make it sound controversial, trying to make it sound like he's making fun of you or something. Oh, you like that movie? You fucking idiot.
They're weaponizing.
It's nothing like that.
Yeah, they're
it's
weaponizing
like, that's
his
not
words.
for that guy. This guy has a certain type of art that he feels, and
This could have been something that Robert Downey Jr. said, and then, you know, just because he's in them doesn't mean that he can't have an opinion about him.
No, that's true. I mean, it'd be very unlikely to, because
I'm kind of surprised Tropic Thunder hasn't ever come back up as something.
For him,
Yeah.
I know. But
I think they
about
immediately handled it very well. Well, I mean, to me, as a white dude watching Tropic Thunder, it was handled pretty well.
Well, it's resolved in the movie.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
The movie jokes
like,
about it.
Yeah.
I don't know. That's great, though. I mean, I don't know. There was something apparently it's talking about T.I., the rapper, was talking, if I'm not mistaken, he was talking about something with Robert Downey Jr. and that he thought it was hilarious and it was a good use of it and stuff. Mm-hmm. I don't know. Those memes have been coming back around where it's like, who would you have do this? And it would show Robert Downey Jr. as a black guy. But it is funny that it's not come back to haunt him in a time period where, like, right now, like, that people are trying to dig up and be like, has this person ever done blackface? Because we're about to get this motherfucker. And
yeah,
it's come back with Justin Trudeau. You know, it's always funny that it's the people, you know.
It's the people that don't like.
Well,
that's
it's not
the problem.
Justin Trudeau, I mean.
Well, he's a politician in Canada. He's the president of Canada?
I don't know what you call that.
Prime Minister of
I don't
Canada?
think he's the prime minister either, though.
Troubadour.
No, he is the number one in charge in Canada, is he not?
I mean, I think so.
I'm pretty sure
they
he
have a
is.
king or something like that?
I think it's
Prime Minister of Canada. He is.
Yeah.
Prime
Okay.
Minister.
So, but yeah, people like he's a politician. Therefore, he became a target of people who did not like him because of policies.
No, yeah, that's
Once Robert Downey Jr. starts coming out about stuff and saying like, "Oh, this," and people start
if he
disagreeing
becomes
with him,
political.
yeah, he gets a target on his head for that, just like Jim Carrey.
No, that's definitely true. The rest of the Marvel people are political. Robert Downey Jr. is pretty quiet about it. You know, if you look at Chris Evans
gets targeted sometimes.
Chris Evans is very political, and so is Mark Ruffalo.
Yeah, Chris Evans is more conservative though, and I think the majority of people.
I think he's more centrist.
Yeah, I'm about
like
to say.
Not?
No, he's very he's very
only thing I've heard-
the reason you'd think that is because the topics he talks about tends to be things that should, to him, feel like are central ideals.
Oh, wait, never mind, hold
That's
on.
being called.
I'm getting my people mixed up. It's Chris Pratt, not Chris Evans. Chris Pratt is very conservative, isn't he?
Oh, well,
I feel like
he's gone
they're
towards a
pretty
Christian
similar.
swing.
Yeah. Well, that's
in his recent years, and that,
Yeah.
I think people are talking about that's what fueled his divorce from Anna Faris and a bunch of other stuff.
Yeah.
And, I mean, he kind of talked
and
about himself.
that's who I meant. Chris, and then there's so many Chris's in the MCU. Because Chris Pine was in the MCU too, wasn't he?
Hemsworth?
No, Chris Pine.
I don't think so.
Was he not?
No, isn't Chris Pine the one that's in
Star Trek?
Yeah, he's the one that he was in Wonder Woman. So he's been in the DC.
DC. Okay, I knew he was in a comic book movie. I never saw Wonder Woman though.
But anyway, I guess that's losing the forest for the trees.
Why didn't you watch
found the
Wonder
whole situation
Woman?
weird.
I hated Batman versus Superman. That movie was god
Actually, if
awful.
I'm being real, I almost didn't see
did.
Wonder Woman because of that
I
exact
still
thing.
haven't watched either.
The coolest part
Wonder
of,
Woman's still okay. I mean, it's not some amazing movie, but considering how iffy the previous DCEU movies were, it was kind of like, why would you waste your time? But it was good. I mean, it was good enough.
the coolest part about of those movies was Batman pretty much fighting like he does in Arkham games.
Oh yeah,
His hand-to-hand combat, especially in that one warehouse scene in Batman vs Superman. The movie was god awful though.
man. You know, Zack Snyder gets shit on all the time, and everybody.
I don't think he's made anything recently that I've liked other than Watchmen and 300.
Some people have been talking about. Have you seen the thing where they've been people who were saying that there was apparently Zack Snyder's cut of the Justice League, and that they want, and even Kevin Smith has talked about this. If they could try and even just release his cut in some way. Now this is footage that didn't make it all the way through to production, like for effects, of course. So this is like sometimes green screen footage and stuff like that, footage that's not been edited.
But it would be better.
But that you could at least understand what he was trying to do with it, and it was vastly different than what.
I think that's the big problem is the studio heads over there with all of
meddle so much.
yeah, with all.
But
the
I also
DC
don't
universe.
know because I mean, Zack Snyder does have bad movies. I mean, it's just true.
Yeah, but you look at stuff like Watchmen.
Yeah, Watchmen was
Watchmen was
better,
fantastic.
but Watchmen was
See, I don't.
Watchmen was bad until you watched the director's cut. I didn't care for Watchmen until I saw the director's
I
cut.
mean, I think they're both fun.
I still don't care for Watchmen.
I loved it. The cinematography in those movies are great.
I do
script is
think
great.
that the style fit. I mean, Watchmen needed that dark Zack Snyder style. I don't necessarily know that was true for Batman and Superman.
No, it didn't.
I mean, Batman does.
It would
But
have been
grounded
a change.
Batman worked. You
Yeah,
know
it
what
would
I
have been
mean?
a change, but like I just didn't like anything they went with it direction wise. And
I don't know, dude. They've done fucking everything with Batman. I remember when they did that, and I haven't watched it yet. The Batman Ninja, I think is what it was called. The one where it was like
no, that'll
anime.
probably be pretty good because that's an animated movie.
Yeah.
WB's
and
and
Oh yeah, they're fantastic.
those
but
DC
still,
animated movies are pretty good.
they just do anything with Batman. They're like, what if we
hell,
put
Lego
Batman and
Batman's-
Joker?
Lego Batman's been better
Still
than a
never
lot of
saw
Batman
Lego
movies.
Batman.
Oh, the Lego Batman was okay. I mean,
It was funny.
Lego Batman was better in the Lego movie
Wasn't,
than he was in his own movie. Weirdly,
Will Arnett, the voice of Batman.
yeah.
I don't like Will Arnett.
I love Will Arnett. He's hilarious.
But
But I love Arrested Development.
Last season of BoJack's coming out.
Yeah, in 2 parts. I don't know.
I
Content's at a weird
BoJack.
spot
You
right
hate
now.
BoJack?
I hate BoJack.
I didn't care for BoJack much either. To
It's
be
so
honest.
dry.
What?
Well, it's kind of depressive. That's the
Yeah.
thing about Will Arnett. Most of his comedy is real.
I like dry, depressing comedy. I guess.
Job, his character in Arrested Development, is very much.
See, I like his character in Joe, but that's not like any other character he ever really plays.
Oh,
he always plays
that's
these
like
dumb.
plenty of his characters. He's overly ambitious with a sense of with a lack of sense.
He always plays
he's dumb
dumb.
as Job.
So, he always plays dumb, and I mean this in like the terms of just like a completely
What scene-
idiotic supporting role that doesn't need to be even be there in half of his movies.
I just like
it's
the
more
scene where they.
the, glorified cameos in movies he's in.
What was it? They each wore masks trying to get the other one to have sex with them.
Yeah,
There's a.
and it was mask of each other.
Yeah.
So, oh man,
So you guys excited for? We're talking about a lot about TV and movies. Are you guys excited for the Breaking Bad El Camino movie coming out next Friday?
I am. I didn't know if you heard me the other day when I was getting out of the party, but I've been rewatching every episode of Breaking. I've been rewatching Breaking Bad. I'm in season 5 right now.
You said that in the party last night.
when I was
The other night?
the other night when I was getting off.
Oh yeah, when you were getting off, I think I was in the process of starting to eat or something.
Yeah, I mean you were on.
Oh no, I had
but
just finished eating.
There was a lot of people in that party.
There was.
But
Saul's
yeah.
memories revolve around meals.
Yeah, they
Let's
do.
see, I ate at 7 p.m. last
I
Tuesday.
had
So
chicken
is
Chick-fil-A.
that going to be your alibi? Like, if you ever
Coincidentally.
murdered somebody in the dark, where were you at 7 p.m. on Sunday, the 29th?
Yeah, probably
I was
so.
at Papa
Let's
Poblano's.
see.
I hate
Oh,
Papa
well-
Poblanos.
talking to this
don't-
guy, talking to this gay guy at Chick-fil-A drive-through.
5 minutes. Couldn't place me at the scene. No, but coincidentally, that's where I got the chick. That's what I had for dinner that night was Chick-fil-A.
Have you ever thought
that was that Friday night?
Oh, okay, yeah.
See, Breaking Bad's another show. I've just never watched it.
Breaking Bad's actually it's a show. For the longest time, I thought this is not for me, and then I just watched it because Donovan lived with us at the time, and he wanted to watch it, so he just put it on, and I was just sitting there playing games, and it ended up being one of those things where like. It took about 3 episodes of me hearing stuff and being like, okay, this is mildly interesting. Where suddenly something happened and I was like, oh, fuck.
I really hope my mic was working the entire time because the clip was undone.
No, it should have been.
Okay.
I don't talking to it.
I mean, we don't know if the levels are going to be any different with me talking into it right now or not.
Okay. Well,
we're not recording Blaze anyway, so I forgot to pull the mic over in ASIO territory, but it's fine.
Well, no, it pops up when I'm talking.
I'm talking about Mixcraft.
Oh.
We're fine. This is.
Oh wait, yeah.
Now we got to edit the podcast.
No, you can see both the mics over there,
but not 3 mics.
Yeah, but mine and yours.
Yeah,
yeah, but and you can see that there's wavelength over
Tech
there.
Talk.
I'm gonna get
TikTok.
up. No.
Anyway, it's hard for me to watch shows that are more than 30 minutes at a time because. I mean, I understand that hour-long episodes give you a lot more.
Way more.
But it's just hard for me as a.
You watch so many movies, though.
I don't watch that many movies. What movies do
you
I watch?
You watch enough movies. You watch more movies than I do until recently. Actually, recently I've very much skewed my numbers because Blake has gotten me.
I don't really watch that many movies. If I do a movie, though, it's not like we watch one every night. It's a... Hey, we're sitting down watching a movie, as opposed to a show like Breaking Bad. You kind of got to have a designated watch it every day if you're really going to make any sort of progress.
I think you can watch a couple episodes a week, but it's definitely a show that I think
couple 2-3 hours a week.
Yeah,
I mean more than an hour and a half movie a week if I even watch that.
Yeah, I mean that's fair. I'm not saying that's wrong, but going back to your bigger thing about how they give so much more. I mean, honestly. I never cared for TV until most shows, besides sitcoms that are way more comedy driven, they do their part of trying to be, but even then you feel like they could do a little bit better. I mean, some shows pull it off pretty well for me.
Those type of shows you can have on in the background while you do stuff. You can't have something like Breaking Bad on in the background.
I mean, yeah and no. I mean,
it depends if you've seen it.
Aren't we both skewed? Because, yeah, I can do that with How I Met Your Mother, but the first time I was watching How I Met Your Mother, I wasn't doing other stuff. I was watching How I Met Your Mother. And the weird thing about it is, and you are too, we were at very different times in our lives, to be fair. We didn't have any kind of real responsibility, but we would watch 3 hours of How I Met Your Mother and then get off and do something. So
because we were bored and didn't have much to do.
But it is different, but it's the same thought process. If you were going to put on How I Met Your Mother or a new sitcom and watch 2 episodes back to back, that's the same as if you watched one Breaking Bad episode. But it does feel different because one feels more bite-sized, and like when one episode's up, if you wanted to leave, you could, and that story's wrapped up. Whereas Breaking Bad, if you wanted to turn it off halfway through an episode, you're going to come back later and be like, what the fuck was going on? I get it. It's different. But Hannah's been getting into Breaking Bad because of El Camino. So I've been rewatching it, and she was starting to rewatch it, and we've been going through that. And she just recently started paying attention. So she's like, who's that? Who's that?
I hate that.
Oh, yeah. Jess, what happened? I'm watching the same goddamn movie. Well, dude, what's going on?
I've watched the show before, though, so it does help that I can kind of just explain it to Hannah, and I don't feel like I'm missing anything. Because I'm just rewatching to pick up the little things that I'd forgotten about. Not that I completely... when I'm rewatching them, I remember them, but seeing them you get it more vividly, it is nice. I mean, when you're about to start watching a movie that is very much tied to the end of the original show, it's nice to rewatch the show, get that ending, and then go, oh, yeah, okay, now when this movie comes in, I'm going to be right there with him on what was going on instead of being years removed from what I felt at the end of that series.
You think Walt's really dead?
No, I don't know.
Me and Annie talk about that, and she says that that you can see somebody run up to him at the end and feel for a pulse. And
oh yes, you do.
And then they look
over
and
as
they
the camera
their head.
starts coming up.
Yeah, she says you can see them shake their head. I don't think you can see them do that. But also, if they don't have a pulse and all the cops just got there, EMS has to be right behind them.
Yeah.
So and there's things
you can shake your head for either thing. Oh, no pulse or. Oh, no,
is he dead?
No. Come here.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm really curious to see if we'll see him back or not, because what I am.
That would be the fucking diamond, and you just be over there. That'd be like fucking Kool-Aid Man busting through the wall. You just watch the movie yeah, Walt's dead. Just fucking.
I want Walt to be alive, but I think it would make it better of a movie if he was actually dead. And this really focuses only on Jesse.
I don't know what you're talking about, but they'll just start the movie having him. That's how I do it.
Yeah, I know.
You know what the problem
Hospital
is? Saul's just over here talking about how we're not supposed to spoil it too, but he just totally spoiled the majority of Breaking
Bad
Bad.
itself, though, is a show that is
But justifying my actions.
I mean, how many people do you know?
Hypocrisy, my name is.
How many people do you know have seen the book or read the book of It that have not seen the miniseries? Because the miniseries does not also have that killing in it either.
Okay, but you just further proved my own point, actually, because there's a book.
Yeah.
There is a movie, which I guess you call a miniseries.
Yeah, it was a miniseries.
It's a long. They did long ass movies. There was a movie called Rose Red that was like 3 VHSs. I can't remember.
Good fucking
It was
Lord.
some scary thing.
Titanic was 2, and that movie's
Pearl
fucking
Harbor
years
was
long.
2.
Not really, but yes.
You remember Pearl Harbor?
Yes, I remember Pearl Harbor. Kate Beckinsale's fine as shit. Ooh, that woman.
But yeah,
But anyway,
what we're talking about, nobody has seen before, and the people
I just said how I've never watched Breaking Bad. I've watched
and you just
half an
fucking
episode.
told him all of it.
So now I see Walter. That's the guy they're talking.
Do you understand spoiler
Breaking.
context and the fact that one is currently in the movies now, and the show that has not aired and has been on Netflix for the 8 years prior, 10 years, even more so? There's a difference between something currently in theaters and a show that is 10 years old.
Okay, well then how do you feel about Final Fantasy VII remake spoilers? It's not
Spoil
going to
it.
matter now
I've said
because
it
they're
before,
changing
spoil it.
the
I
shit
don't
out of
give
the
a
story.
fuck. Spoil it. I don't give a fuck. That game has been around for almost 20 years, if not 20 years at this point. 22 years, actually. 1997, right?
Yeah.
22 years. I don't give a fuck. Spoil it. People are complaining, I didn't get to see it. Well, this game's not for you new people. Anyways, it's for the fans.
I just feel like if you're going to have a
that the game's
spoiler,
not for new fans.
Hold on.
No, you didn't hear what I just said. I said nothing about new fans.
So this is the only thing I'd say. I just feel like if you're going to have a policy about spoilers, it needs to just be consistent. That's my.
Is that not
thing.
consistent?
I don't think so.
How?
I mean, you just said so a show that
what
is
if
having a
someone
new
watched
movie
6
coming
out
up
of the
that
whatever
matters.
seasons,
And how many times have you casually browsed the internet and saw the famous scene that happens in 7?
So here's
without
something.
any context
Here's something
of 7.
very specific though.
How many times
I'm
you
not talking
browsed-
about 7. I am talking about Breaking Bad. Though 7 does have its existence in this argument too. This comes down to the fact that which has existed in a number of different forms.
One form but one form in the specific
is currently
going
going
we're talking
on. Yes,
about.
I know. Let me finish what I'm talking about.
Okay.
And there will be a tie. So very much like you're talking about with which is being in theaters right now, though it's existed in other media before, is pretty close, though not exactly, but pretty close to the fact that there are a number of people who may have watched who have had interest in watching Breaking Bad but never did it, who saw the El Camino teaser and were like, you know what, now's the time to do it. So the show right now is in a renaissance of people rewatching it, and that is actually proved by Netflix. There's a ton of people watching the show right now who have either watched it before or watched it new.
But do you have the numbers who have watched the show before, or if they're doing what you're doing?
But we don't know. But so how many people are watching It Chapter 2 who read the fucking book or watched the miniseries? And
if you read the book, then it's not a spoiler.
Playing a game sequel, and then that are disconnected. Oh, someone played Borderlands 3. Oh, okay. Oh, I should play the first 2 Borderlands. Which I don't know if they're story heavy.
But that does happen. That's my point. Is that with these being,
I think that's a very fair spoiler policy. But what you're comparing is 2 different. Not only are you comparing 2 different forms of media, a TV show and a movie. You're comparing it that a movie is currently airing in theaters versus a TV show that anybody in the past 10 years has had the chance to go see. That's
okay. Anybody in the past 40 years has had the chance to read fucking It.
Yeah, but there's not a fucking It movie that covers, or there's nowhere else in context that covers that.
That scene in the grand scheme of things is not even important. If I'm being dead honest,
it's still a spoiler.
Did you get to hear the story behind that when I went to go watch it? You weren't at that
No.
podcast, but did we ever talk about it?
Nah.
That when the gay people kissed, this family in front of me, just sure enough, like the dad's got a sleeveless wolf howling at a moon shirt with a black cowboy.
They got up and walked out.
No, the daughter, and he had like 4 daughters and 3 daughters and a wife. They all look the same age. I don't know who was who. Anyway, just like they were all everyone. Ooh. And I just want to be like, yes, God forbid that 2 dudes kiss in a movie about brought their kids.
God forbid little 2 people who love each other.
Little homie had a cowboy hat too, and he was probably half my height. Yeah, little homie.
But I think
it's
2 different things when you're comparing something that is currently out in theaters and not anyone in our age group has read that book and compared it to people who haven't.
I've
Like,
read
So
that's-
we're just gonna have to agree to disagree on this one, man.
I mean, you can't agree to disagree with my spoiler policy. It's my spoiler policy. That's what I'm saying.
I'm agreeing to disagree with your spoiler
This is
policy,
a
but you don't have to
this is
agree
a
with my
democracy
disagreement.
Yeah.
about what we're gonna.
well, I mean, I'm just saying, like, that's two drastically different things.
I don't think they're drastically
They are
different.
drastically different.
But I
because
think that they are different.
Somebody said
Leave your
access to-
opinion down below.
Well, yeah.
Comment what you think.
One, you've had like, okay, so let's bring this up then. Let's say what we've been talking about with Marvel movies and such. Let's go back to Iron Man.
Well,
If
okay.
you were to spoil Iron Man right now, how bad would that be in comparison to spoiling?
That's not media.
Right,
That's not cinema.
Anyway, okay. What about me? Someone who's never got to finish Game of Thrones.
Okay.
And people like you talking. I don't know about it.
I would say that's a little too close because the season finale or series finale just happened months ago.
I'm talking about within an hour. I saw shit all about it all over.
That's not right.
Facebook.
But what I'm
Same thing with a lot of big shows like Walking Dead and shit.
yeah,
Right,
because
which
it's almost immediate.
God forbid, I don't actually watch any of those shows, but I'm saying within an hour.
But you're
shit's
fucking,
all
you're
over.
almost shunned if you don't watch those shows because it's a social
don't
conversation.
like
I
those
don't
shows.
agree with that, and I don't either. But
I
I don't
went to
agree
Game
with
of
that.
Thrones thinking realistic Lord of the Rings. This should be dope. No, I got sex and politics. There's enough of that in my news feed. Fuck it. That's
But my-
like,
Actually, though, if I'm being honest, that's compelling if it was done in a way that was more enjoyable for me. I actually think that
well, then
part
that's
of why
why
I'm
I like
loving this
Vikings.
Greedfall game is
Well,
half of it
Vikings
is...
has some of the politics and shit in it, and it's a lot more enjoyable to me because it's there's still sex, violence, and politics, the things everyone seems to like, but they don't focus on weird aspects of it.
but
like,
it's presented in a way that's better to you. And that's what I'm getting at. Because I think that what a lot of media that forgets is that there is something compelling about putting real world things that everybody has to deal with on a common basis in those things. So like when I'm playing Greedfall, I love that half of it, that game is probably 40% about combat and 60% about talking and understanding the world that you're in and the politics and being a diplomat and going through and doing these things. And that's compelling because it's like, oh, this is like if I actually lived in this world. Because if you actually lived in a world, you just wouldn't run around fucking killing
so
everything.
what's your video game policy, so? And
Well, spoilers? Same thing. If it's 10 years old and there's a casual conversation about you get spoiled, tough shit. It's your responsibility
Okay,
to
I was
say.
raised in a religious commune.
Okay.
I never got to play Final
That's-
Fantasy.
once again, tough shit.
I didn't have a console. Until,
Also, if we're talking about a video game series that you may be interested in and you don't yourself say, oh, hey, I'm not playing that, let's not talk about spoilers. That's also your
yeah,
responsibility,
because
too.
the guys on the other end
How am I
of
supposed to
the
know you came
speaker
from a-
on the computer are supposed to know to tell you to shut up before you say
What
something.
other... What
They're just sitting there
what-
listening. Hey, Saul, shut the fuck
Okay.
up, please. I might be
And
playing
he says
this
it
game
anyway.
soon.
Goddamn asshole.
But here's the thing, though, is that, once again, you're just out of luck.
Okay.
10-year-old spoilers.
Okay. But
Am I supposed to censor myself for every movie and book
You have
and
spoiled,
video
you
game?
have spoiled so many
that-
video games for me. It's not even funny.
Name 3.
The one with the Batman. No, I'm trying to think of names.
Okay.
Okay, you spoiled Batman for me before we finished it.
What Batman movie? What
The last one.
Arkham Knight.
Yeah.
I didn't spoil Arkham
Yeah,
Knight.
you spoiled Arkham Knight for me.
How? We weren't even hanging out back then.
Yeah, we were.
No, we weren't.
Yes, we were.
We
No.
played. We had party
We didn't-
chats going on all the time back then.
Yes, dude. That game came out after we. That game came out.
But we didn't talk about stuff like that.
That was after you. That was like the last rent house I did before I got a house.
Yeah,
and
but-
you
We didn't hang out like that where we got in a party chat and talked about games we were currently playing. Also, I beat Arkham Knight when I had the flu.
Saul
we,
is
we
getting
played.
mighty
We played
defensive.
Rocket League consistently.
Yeah, but even bro, remember this. I've talked about Arkham Knight before as I was sick. Remember that when we talked
I know
about
that
like I
you're
bought
sick,
it from
yeah.
Justin.
Dude, that was way. Hey, no, Arkham Knight came out way after we played. You were
Destiny
back
on
in the
Xbox
late. Yeah,
and all
we used to
sorts of
played. We used to play Advanced Warfare.
Well, yeah, you're
on
right. My
Xbox.
timeline is wrong. But even
Yeah,
then,
very wrong.
when did I spoil
We
that?
used to. I'm glad you think that of our friendship.
Look, no, my timeline involving the links is real messed up for some reason. I keep thinking I had the PS4 before my Xbox.
I keep-
I
Can
don't
you
know
remember
why.
when you snorted cocaine off the dick in the alleyway?
Yes.
Oh, then you got to.
Because
It was at the links, wasn't it? But no, it's
PT. At
I
the
think
Links.
I think you're thinking of the same person who spoiled it for me and him, because there's one person that spoiled it for me and him.
Who spoiled it for me?
I don't
Justin.
know. I'm pulling.
Oh no, I already knew what it was.
Well, I
That's
mean,
the problem.
everybody
yeah.
did.
And honestly, even then, Justin's just talking out of his ass. Because here's the thing: I love Justin. Justin
It
fucking
was,
just
but
says
it was
shit,
an
dude.
obvious.
It was so obvious. He's like, I know what it is. Yeah, Justin, fucking half the internet.
But I don't ever go through and like, especially something new. Like I give it maybe 1 year, but not if 2. years before I will. And if I'm discussing something with him, like, have you seen it? No. And I've even said this to Brett, like, I'll shut up about what I'm talking about.
I'm just
but
trying to
if
get you irritated, and
I
it's
mean,
working.
it's not really irritating me.
Well, look, one thing I will
riled
say
up.
is we do podcasts, and one of the things that me and Saul actually have. You're just going to when you do podcasts, like definitely when you talk about games, right? And we do Triangle Squared. Inevitably, you're going to end up saying something in order to have the conversation.
Yeah.
And you just kind of have to exist in this good faith policy of
you don't walk on eggshells around what you're talking about because
you
there's
otherwise
someone
it'd be
making something
impossible.
But you were
Yeah.
the one walking on eggshells. That's what I'm confused
I'm
about.
walking on eggshells for somebody for something that came out like what 3 weeks ago, which is well within my policy. I'm walking on eggshells for people who just may not have seen it in the
But
theater
I'm
yet.
discussing two
Came out
gay
a month
people
ago.
kissing in an opening scene that has
But I didn't
really
know how
nothing
far,
to do with the story.
But I didn't know how far you were going to go into the stuff
so
that
you
happened.
don't trust
because
my
once
basic
again,
instinct of
it's a
Well, I
world
mean,
building thing for the story. It doesn't have any actual importance to the story
right?
itself.
But some people still don't
but
like hearing
it's
about
important.
scenes.
Yeah,
and
fair,
the way the
fair.
scene happened too is pretty. Like that's a shock moment in the
well,
movie
then
when you're
edit
just
in
like,
a goddamn trigger warning. How about that?
it's not a trigger warning; it'd be a spoiler warning. But yeah, it's just one of those things that's like, especially for a horror movie, you don't take away a shock value. It's the same as telling somebody of a climax like, oh,
If that movie was
watch it.
actually scary at all, maybe I'd agree with you.
I would argue that that's that's one of the most shocking moments of the movie.
Weirdly, and it shouldn't be in a movie that's supposed to be a horror movie.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, because it was grounded in real violence. It's kind of what movie is it where the dude gets curb stomped?
Oh,
American
like
History
American
X.
History X.
Or and then like
And that's a great moment of cinema.
Yeah.
And that's a weird thing
Yeah,
because, of course, it's over something
because
terrible.
you can think of that actually happening.
Yes.
That was that was kind of what I was getting at with the gay scene is you can imagine that actually happening.
Yeah,
it's
and
like Four Brothers. You can imagine
it's
that
what- it's
actually
what makes it
happening.
stick with you.
What's Four Brothers? That
One of
sounds
the- oh
like-
my God, Four Brothers is fantastic.
No, it sounds familiar, but I can't think what it is.
has the
Marky
Blu-ray in
Mark's
there.
in it.
The military movie. isn't
And
it?
I always forget his name,
Don't-
Tyrese or something.
Can we spoil it for
Tyrese
you?
Gibson.
Because it's been
Isn't
out
it
for
the-
over 10 years.
He's the one who said, the guy in
Fast and
Fast
Furious?
Furious 2 said, "Man, I'm hungry."
Isn't that the? But we're talking about the. No, oh, never mind. I know what movie we're talking about now. The one with the mom.
It's got
right?
Jackie in it. Yeah, it's
It
the mom
takes place
who,
in like New Jersey or New York or
Detroit,
something
I
like that.
thought.
Oh yeah, Detroit. Yeah,
Can I
okay.
spoil it for you since it's
I've
10
seen
years
it.
old?
it's a fantastic movie.
I just
love it so much.
I'm not like it's one
I
of
don't
those
think
movies.
Jess has seen it. I need to show it to her.
Oh, it's great.
It's
I used to
good.
have it on
I know.
Blu-ray before
I
somebody
remember when
stole
you
my
bought it.
shit.
I remember when you bought it.
I don't have.
I
half
get that
my
though.
Blu-ray movies.
There's a military movie I get confused with that movie. The names,
I could see that.
Four Brothers, and there's something else.
Four Locos.
There's a video game series called Brothers in Arms.
No, that's not that either.
I don't know past that.
What's the good? I love it. I can't think. It sucks that I can't think of the name of it. The HBO Band of Brothers. That's what I'm getting confused with.
I don't know what that is.
Band of Brothers is like a has a lot of famous people in it throughout its run.
How does that
but
end?
It's I actually haven't. I didn't get to finish that up, and I don't think it's that many.
Let me look
Oh yeah, let's look it up and we'll tell you. Don't worry about
It
it.
ended, yeah, I was saying it ended like 10 years ago. So
Yeah, so it's way
Or
past your
actually,
spoiler
it might
policy,
be-
right?
Might be like
I'm just giving
a
you
little bit
shit.
less.
You have
Honestly,
you
I
have
am
a fair
too.
enough policy. I'm just
Yeah, I mean, my thing is that if it's within 2 years, and if you're talking about a subject and you aren't smart enough to say, "Oh, I haven't seen that yet" or whatever, then don't bring it up. But if it's something new and recent, then yeah, you.
Nah,
let it-
I mean, I'm with you. I try and walk on eggshells as much as
I'd like to
possible.
think in the future you'd think I wouldn't actually spoil a new movie. I wouldn't because, like I said, that in context of the movie, it has no.
Yeah, that's my thing. I don't really consider that a spoiler because it doesn't actually ruin anything in the movie besides a scene. And I'll agree with you to an extent.
I think it's the
that
shock
the scene
value.
does
And
have
a lot
some
of
shock
people,
value,
and
but I think that
to
shock
go
value
back,
is there regardless.
It's a very discussed scene right now because that a lot of people haven't seen. It was all. If anything, I saw on that movie, it was people discussing that because a lot of people felt there should be some sort of graphic violence.
yeah,
warning.
which is
Because-
ridiculous because you're in an R-rated movie.
That's a little more sensitive. It's kind of like rape scenes for people who've been raped, and I get that
Is
if
it,
you
though?
set that precedent, it's hard.
Hold on, but
Well, I
is
mean,
it-
I'm not comparing those two. Don't do that. Don't do that to me. What I'm saying is, it's something like say someone has
get
been a
it.
victim of.
I get it. It's something that you are a victim of. So something that
Yeah,
is
that's
a-
what I
is-
was getting
is
at with that.
about
It's not
you.
that
That
thing.
is not something you cannot change about yourself.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I can understand both ways on it. Where it's like, well, you shouldn't have to on a rated R movie when you're a grown person label any sort of crazy thing that happens in it.
I
Same
still don't
time,
think
some
like,
people are sensitive.
there's not enough
if
time in
you've
the
had a
world.
traumatic
Maybe,
event-
but it's just you can't do that with everything.
Yeah,
And
there's not enough time in the world to do that for.
Because
Exactly.
every
I-
experience has
movie-
happened
that's
to
what I'm saying.
everybody.
I'm on the fence on that, but what I was
It
what
is
I was
job.
getting at with that is
It made people
that is the
uncomfortable.
discussion that was going on the
I agree
on Twitter,
and I guess
stuff.
the bigger thing is that that's because being gay is, and so being gay is not. I mean, it's still a really low percentage of the population, honestly. But when you look at it, it's still something that can just happen by birth, and you're just going to live through. And then when you're gay, you have the potential for some kind of violent action to happen on you, right? And now that doesn't mean that that's that exists and it's on its own, but that doesn't mean that that's somehow drastic. And this is just my opinion. Just because those two things exist and together, and that you may get beat up because of that. There's plenty of other people get beat up. You get beat up for liking Pokemon. That I know that sounds drastic, but that shit that happens, and that shit that's happened here when I was going to school.
I was gonna say,
So, but my
you
point
get beat up
being-
for being Jewish.
My point
know
being,
that.
Yeah. Good Lord. But that's my point, is that you can get beat up for anything.
Holocaust.
And now it's unfortunate, and one seems like it's, but should
We're canceled.
It's the same as,
We're canceled now.
fuck it, whatever. But yeah, that's my
YouTube's
point.
gonna
Is,
pull the
and I'm
plug.
not trying to play some thing where you pull and say, "Oh, okay, so being gay is the same as liking Pokemon." No. But liking Pokemon
No.
is something that you're inherently just going to like. You're going to like it because you saw it and you're like, "I don't know what it is about it, but I like that." And to some extent, should you be made fun of for something that you just inherently liked and felt? No,
Well, no, but
same as being gay. You're gay. You like a man or a woman, or
'cause
that's something. That's actually a real question, real quick. Is gay and lesbian, is gay supposed to be male specific?
I thought we were a comedy show, man.
I think that depending on who you ask, it could be different due to like them.
I remember the first time
how
that
they
someone
use it.
said lesbian instead of gay. I was like, I guess in my mind, I thought that gay was just
I'm pretty
all
sure,
encapsulating.
I'm
of,
pretty sure gay is interchangeable among male and female, but lesbian is more specified
obviously
for
not.
women
Yeah,
to women.
okay, that makes sense.
But my whole thing is that like you don't choose to be gay, and you don't choose to like the things you like. But I think that people are more trying to understand the reasoning why that something happens to you because you get hurt or attacked for the things you like. When in reality, it goes back to that thing we were talking about a while back. Is that like, it's mental illness. Like the reason they did that.
Blaze, that was a hearty laugh. Go ahead, let's hear it.
Yeah, like I know what he. I know.
I'm just talking about the us being canceled thing, and you're it's just like, if your wording, if you're not careful.
Oh no,
on that,
I know
is-
what my wording could be flipped into because I know that's what you thought. But no, I'm saying that like if someone attacks you on the street for anything that's for anything really at all, if you shouldn't be out attacking anybody.
Yeah,
But like the thing
the
is
person
that
who's doing the attacking,
if
has got
someone's
some
brain
kind of,
clicks and says that guy has blonde hair, I need to kill him. That's mental illness.
got
Like
that
there's
backwards.
something wrong with you.
Yeah.
And if that guy has black hair or whatever, But my whole thing is like like you don't take a step back and look at the whys for stuff like that. In my opinion, like if somebody said, "Oh, I killed that dude because he was gay," yeah, dude, you're messed up in your head. Like execution time or like whatever.
Would you kill him right then?
I guess
Right then.
I mean,
right then.
I believe I'm one of those people that believe like if you caught like what is it, first degree murder where you actually plan everything? Or is that
Oh yeah,
third-
premeditated.
Yeah, you deserve the death sentence.
I mean,
You took a life, you deserve your life taken. Just like I believe
Man,
if you want
we
to file
were touching some great.
if you want to file a false rape claim and you do it on purpose and it turns out they were lying, then yeah, you deserve charges for rape.
oh, I actually do agree
An
with
eye
that.
for
I
an
think
eye.
that false charges should be
The equivalent of what
the
you
punishment should be the
falsified
same as
for.
what you were going to do to someone else.
Yeah.
Because that's the only way that you're going to be able to get people to not do
To
it.
deter them, yeah.
Yeah, it's the
And my whole
only
thing, too,
deterrent
is,
that I
like,
can imagine.
If you premeditate, like, here's the thing. So many people nowadays, they go out and commit these crimes in hopes of becoming the next news person, the next villain on the news or whatever. Can't do that if they're dead.
Well, that's
People like
true.
Dylan Roof who shot up a
most of them are
church.
dead.
Well, Dylan Roof shot up a church, black church, killed 8 or 9 people. Dude deserved to be executed the next day. He doesn't deserve to have his
Publicly.
name circulated for weeks
Ugh,
upon weeks
boy.
upon weeks.
I'd be a fan
Here's
of public.
Dude, I'm telling you, it's so crazy.
Twitch stream.
Oh God.
So I can't show titties, but I can.
What we're gonna do is we're gonna ask the audience to all tap their space bar, and then universally, when you
man.
And
then
the meter-
it'll pull the thing, and he'll be hanged. He'll be publicly hanged.
Everyone had something to do with it.
We're
then
all
you can't feel
we're
bad.
all implicit. You're all implicated. You did it
Jesus.
too. We as a society have ruined things.
But I'm-
Hold on, while we're going towards that, can we talk about how fucking crazy the idea of the purge is? I mean, that's surreal.
I mean,
shit.
that's honestly where you're getting this dark humor of like Twitch streaming public executions. That's like getting into like the realm of like the
I'm
purge.
just trying to lighten up this serious ass topic.
That's what I'm doing right now. The purge. Like, I remember when someone told me what the purge was. I was
I come
like,
do this
could
to
you
have
fucking
fun, man."
imagine what that would be like? Oh,
I mean, I thought
Would
about
people
that.
even do that? It makes you wonder if you gave people carte blanche, you have to imagine that it would go down the way it does in The Purge. But there's also
Yeah,
this little naive
absolutely.
ass part of me that's like, wouldn't it be kind of cool if everybody was just kind of like, hey, you know what? No laws or whatever for 24 hours. Let's just prove that we can live in peace.
Yeah, you're gonna die in
until
peace.
someone cuts you off on the
Yeah.
way. No, it's fucker. It's
What the problem will be is that the people who are going to do these things on a day regardless, so like the people who are like, I was already going to kill him today, so now that you just tell me that there's no laws,
Well, that gives them-
I was going to
it's-
do it
it's
anyway.
what's reasoning.
Now I'll get away with it because I just chose to do it at a time
Well,
period.
yeah, it's reasoning, and
Yeah.
it's and for some people, like the way the movie explains, and I don't think this is true
Killing
at all.
people for the greater good. That's a fucking
No, it's not that. It's like killing.
Well,
it's
but the
killing
people would
somebody to
believe
let your-
that. You know what I mean? There'd be people that be like, well, I killed him because I thought it was for the best of my community. Who the fuck were you to decide
No.
that was for the
But
best?
I'm talking about like the way that they say violence drops to like almost 0% because people
afterwards.
let off something and the animosity
Yes.
in them. And I think that's bullshit.
Yeah, I think so too. Definitely if it's only once a year. You tell me
No.
people are going to be fucking crime free a whole
That's like
year
saying-
just so they could fuck people up
Well,
one
that's-
day a year. That wouldn't work.
Yeah, that's like saying that everybody in their entire that entire fictional world is like crazy killers that have to behave until that one day, and then they're good enough for the next year or something.
And that doesn't even talk about the fact of how many people would just do shit that's illegal, that's stupid, that's illegal. Like how many
Can't
people
walk down the street with an alligator in Arkansas.
How many people
Ain't taking me to jail today.
But how many people would just be like, I'm gonna fucking smoke a blunt, I'm gonna do some meth, I'm gonna sell heroin, I'm gonna go bang this hooker in the alleyway? Like, why did it have to be violence? Why would it?
It would be for me. It'd be just like the movie though. It's like I'd make a safe house, or like I'd figure out somewhere safe to be because people are like legitimately crazy.
yes.
I mean, people are
figure
legitimate.
one out.
Yes, I will.
Blaze is over here like, my family taught me and raised me. I am prepared.
I'll be going to Blaze's house on the day of the purge.
Good luck in there.
Blaze's entire fucking trailer just like lifts up and there's an underground bunker.
All of a sudden,
It's like, Blaze, when did you do this? I didn't do this. This was my dad.
This is the way of the land.
This is my family.
The spikes start coming. Chung, 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 chung.
But yeah, like
Yeah.
to end off what I was talking about though is I think that people who attack anybody for any particular reason that it's just the way that somebody is, like, yeah, you're messed up, like there's something wrong with you and you need to find the help if you get those urges. Like, don't let that something just manifest in you to act on them. And I doubt I'm talking to anybody in our audience, but that's if you know someone like that, to help them get help, because that's not something that's common.
But if you do that, here's the thing. Would the expectation that no cinema or any form of media should exist that plays on what those tropes were? Because like,
I don't think that's
without
true.
violence, you can't really have horror movies, or at least like slasher films.
Well,
Like
no.
you can't. If there's never been, and I'm just saying that as a thing. Like, would the expectation be kind of like we were talking about with the Joker thing, where people are worried that people are going to go out and do it? Would the expectation be that
It's not because of the movie, though.
If you stop violence, would the expectation be that you're no longer going to make movies about violence because it's not relevant to humans
No,
anymore?
no.
Or would it eventually get phased
I'm not
out?
talking about anything involving that. I'm talking about it like if you know someone who's going to attack someone on the street because he has black hair and a beard. I'm
yeah,
gonna attack
I get
him.
that, but
where do you get movies from?
What I mean by that is that all take away from movies. I mean, it's all storytelling, entertainment, whatever you
Right.
want to call it, pulls from real world things. I guess what I was getting at is would eventually those slasher movie things, because like do we only understand slasher movies and video games and horror stories? Do we only understand them because of the innate fact that we understand that we live with the chance of violence at any given moment? Is that the only reason that we really connect with them? It's because we understand that even though we live in a pretty sheltered society right now and it's unlikely these things are going to happen to us, it is possible.
I don't think there's enough of that. Like I don't think people realize like how aware of your surroundings you really need to be when you're out in the world.
Well, definitely today, right? Because like if you honestly watch half these movies, like, I know this sounds dumb. One of the movies that actually surprised me the most, that I actually found to be kind of, I don't want to say scary, but tense, because I was like, oh man, this could totally happen, was The Strangers. I was like, now,
Yeah, that was a
it
good
seems
movie.
weird, but it's like, dude, somebody could just roll the fuck up on your house,
Yeah.
and be like,
No, it's-
hey, we're gonna put some mask on, and we're
Even-
just gonna scare the shit out of you,
even on, like, a much-
and then kill you.
Even on like a much smaller scale, like someone was shot at Waffle House just like 3 weeks ago here. Like,
God damn, I didn't know that.
yeah, dude just put out a gun and shot somebody at Waffle House. There's a story behind it, but the thing is like Annie used to go and eat at Waffle House with Kayla. They used to go get coffee around 9 or 10. This happened at like 2 a.m.
Yeah.
4 hours. So like all I could have taken is that guy to get there 4 hours earlier. And like that, my wife would have been there.
And,
So,
and those types of events don't normally drive people away from the places that they happen at anyway. But like,
No.
dude, somebody got shot at Walmart. Fuck, I still got to go buy groceries. I
yeah.
mean,
And like, well, and my thing is
and
like,
that thought
mate.
doesn't even happen. Is what's more weird is that people don't go, oh, that sucks. 'Cause I use Walmart to buy groceries. They just go, oh, that sucks. That never even crosses their mind of, oh, that's where I go to buy. Well, that could have happened to me. Most people
that
don't
crosses
really.
my mind.
That crosses my mind. I go
Well,
long periods
I'm
of
not
time
gonna
without
say
going
it
to
doesn't
Walmart.
cross people's minds, but it doesn't deter them in any real way because we understand that the world stuff's go on.
Man, but
I mean, for me,
remember
it
that
deters me and stuff.
Walmart in California? The,
Where people were walking around with their fucking shirts
the
off.
stalls were missing. Like,
The stall?
Dude, this was
What do you
wild.
mean?
This was a Walmart in fucking
What's a stall? Hold on. What do you mean by stall?
bathroom
door-
stalls.
the bathroom stall
oh,
doors.
okay. So was it just toilets just sitting on the open?
Like the stall doors were missing.
Oh, okay. I think like the stall was missing. Like the entire
no, but like the
furniture.
doors were off and,
Oh,
and
what, the toilet seat was cracked. Like the missing part of the toilet seat.
Pinch your ass while you're taking a shit.
yeah,
That's
crazy
nice.
shit. But no, dude, that was in Orange County, California, and it was
And
actually
the Uber
specifically
driver was like,
it was in Anaheim. So we're fucking rolling through Anaheim, which is where like Disney World and all these fucking cool places are, and all these cool, different conventions happen. Then I honestly, I'm not even gonna kid you, it was kind of a shock because I thought to myself in the moment, I was like, oh, okay, this is a nice area. Surely the Walmart would be nice. And we walked in, and I was like, this is the scariest Walmart I've ever been to in my entire life.
Dude, knowing this town, like I don't get gas at dark anymore. Like I will try to avoid that like the plague of going to any gas station. There's like 2 gas stations I'll go to in this town to get gas if it's dark outside.
I go to Roadrunner.
That's it. That's the one.
Yeah.
Not the one on not the new one, but I will go to the old one.
Well, yeah, the ones that are on the interstate. They
Yeah.
get the most business.
you don't
Yeah.
go to the, what is it? SpeedX or? what is it?
SpeedX.
No, what is it? Over on State Line. The
Raceway.
You don't
Oh,
go to
Raceway.
No,
SpeedX
absolutely
is
not.
the one off of 24th over.
I wouldn't
Right
even.
up.
I wouldn't even go to that place at 7 a.m.
Raceway, I avoid that place actually.
I don't like being in the Whataburger line. The drive-through line is right
Like,
next
I'm gonna
to it.
get shot. I'm gonna get collateral
I've
damage
had,
shot.
I've had people come up and tap on the window
Yeah.
asking for money and junk while I'm the Whataburger line.
I'm glad I don't fucking eat Whataburger.
I don't hardly go to Whataburger.
I don't like Whataburger because of how long their fucking drive-through takes.
Dude, Whataburger
It's only-
is so overrated for
It
what
is.
it is. Even though it
Oh,
made me
here's the
sick,
moment. This is the conversation this show's been waiting for.
I would eat
I'll
it.
say it fucking both
Have
of
you
them.
been to In-N-Out?
Huh?
In-N-Out's fucking
No,
overrated
that's-
too.
that's what- that was my point that you didn't let me get to. I
Sorry.
hated
Do you know?
In-N-Out.
I didn't hate it.
The first time I hated it. Second time I was like, oh. 'cause
Okay, yeah.
The first one was bad.
It's honestly just as mediocre as any other place is. Like, I could eat it. If I had to eat, it's fine. It wasn't great. It was fine.
There's only 2 restaurants to me that I've been told about throughout my life, and then I finally ate, and I was like, that was actually really, really, really good. And they were kind of overrated restaurants. One's Jersey Mike's.
Mhm.
That was delicious. And the other one was Raising Cane's.
I don't like Raising Cane's.
I don't like Raising Cane's at all.
I love Raising Cane's.
And I know I'm crazy in that. A lot of people say that, but I didn't care for them at all.
I don't.
Overly breaded. I didn't.
I like crispy chicken,
It
though.
reminded me of Dairy Queen chicken.
Yes, that's actually
I've
the
never
perfect
eaten-
way to describe
I've
it.
never eaten Dairy Queen chicken. But yeah, I love Raising. I like their fries. I like their cane sauce.
See, I like
their,
Dairy Queen
their-
steak fingers.
No, Dairy Queen steak fingers are good. Yeah,
I
Dairy
like
Queen chicken is
Burgers
it's the
at Dairy
same
Queen
thing
are
as that.
good.
I don't mind it, but it's not the only thing you can get.
Breading.
the burgers.
No, the chicken.
Oh. Well, yeah, the
Well,
It's,
burgers.
and I had the same situation at Cane's. So when you bite into the chicken, sometimes there's so much bread and the bread's so fucking hard that it's like
Oh, that you got some old chicken or something. Then I never had that issue. With
it was only
any
one
Raising
piece
Cane's.
of my thing of chicken. But
because like I hate where is it that does like chicken style like fillets or whatever like that, and the skin is like rock hard. Chicken Express. Every now and then you get that Chicken Express chicken that's like break your teeth hard, and I hate it sometimes. But
Chicken Express is really hit or miss. Sometimes like, yeah, that's pretty good, and then other times like, eh.
I
It's the
I don't
sides.
like the way they do their breading. It's too light. It tastes. It always tastes.
I like
the
it
same
better
every time
than
I had it,
Raising
but
Cane's.
I got
They're both okay.
I got mashed potatoes at Chicken Express one time that smelled just like a baby diaper, like a dirty. Baby
You bring
diaper.
that up so much,
Dude, I'm telling you, me and Annie were like, that's something that like we smelt it when we were eating. We're like,
He's gonna be.
If I'm gonna be honest, if I
that's-
smelled something at a food place that smelled like a baby diaper, I would be fucking like
no,
that
this
would
is at
probably
home.
scar me.
Yeah, we brought it home and we had a family
From a food
size-
place, same
yeah.
thing.
And like we literally smelt it, and that was the perfect example. It
But did
smelled
you
like
dealt it?
baby boo or baby poo, and the diaper. You know, like that smell that the
Oh, tell me about how diapers smell.
Well, yeah, but it's the specific.
You don't even fucking know, Saul.
It's the specific smell, like the specific aspect of the what is it? The
That
the
smelly
absorbing
smell.
material.
That smells.
Yeah, the smelly smell. It's the absorbing material in a diaper. That smell, that almost chemical smell that some of the diapers have. It's that.
You mean when they get left out in the parking lot and they crystallize?
No. I mean, just like you could have a brand.
Have you ever seen that?
Yes,
like,
I
Walmart
have.
Parking lot or something?
Yeah, you're a piece of shit. Too,
Actually-
if you leave your diapers like that around.
It's amazing the shit you see in parking lots. I mean that. I've seen butt plugs in parking lots. I've seen fucking anal beads in parking lots. I've seen condoms that are in, out. I've seen used condoms in parking lots, which is, I guess I kind of get, you fuck somebody in your car and you just toss the bitch out. That's fucking gross.
I tie it in a knot and destroy it.
You see fucking people throwing...
I know why though.
Saul says, well, I'll just swallow mine. Gets rid of that.
Hell yeah, brother.
Like, Saul, I don't know if you want to talk about this in the show, but it's just one of the funniest things.
So I'm
ever-
going to bring it up anyway.
I'm not gonna bring it. I know exactly what this is going to, and I'm not gonna bring it up. Yes, I already know what you're gonna say.
It's just funny.
I already
You
know
know how
what
many
you're gonna
people
say.
I've talked to
I'm
about
a very
this?
prepared person. I mean, not prepared. I'm a very skeptical person when it comes to contraceptives, and I make sure they work.
I
That's
don't.
all I'm gonna
I
say.
just go for it.
There's
I
two
don't
types
have-
of people in this world.
and there's two people
Actually,
with kids.
I'm gonna
and
say this:
me.
there's two types of people in this world, Saul, and you're not in fucking either of those.
No, I'm sure there's someone who like throws on 2 condoms and puts on spermicidal lube and then
You?
goes. I don't do all that. I ain't never used 2 condoms.
But I'll lick the booty hole.
like groceries.
Dude, nothing is more funny to me than that. I'm being dead. Are you trying to look at what time it is?
Yeah.
No, oh, man.
Oh, yeah, I know you need
I
to.
took a Twitter picture.
Oh, good job.
Spooky. But no, yeah.
Look, I want to have that conversation on here one time
Not
because
gonna
it makes
have
me fucking. It's more funny to me that the few people I've said something to, and I don't say it's you, but I say I have a friend who does, and they're like, "Who the fuck would do that?" And it's like their reaction is exactly the reaction that I had.
It's a very like normal thing to do. -1 contraceptive. Like if you're on Plan B, or if you're not on Plan
If
B.
you're on Plan B, I just take that shit like it's
every
fucking
day.
aspirin.
See, now that's when the story get weird if I use Plan B as well. But if you're not on birth control, the other thing you do is very common that people do.
I have literally never
I
met anybody.
guarantee you have
See,
it
here's the
happen
problem. We're having a
once.
conversation. The people listening are like, "What the fuck are they talking about?"
Somebody pledged $80 to Patreon, and you'll get the story.
Yeah.
Please, somebody, let us talk about this.
Yeah.
Okay, can we make it a slightly more reasonable amount? Can we do $25?
No, I did $85. Every time you
Your
go down,
money, you just went up.
I did.
You just went,
$85.
And well, the funny thing is people who
but
think
no,
this is some
then
kind
if
of off
it's
the wall
if
crazy
it's
story,
if
and it's not.
If it's
Hold on, we just got
$85,
$50. That's got to be
We
something.
did, and I think the person who gave us $50, but like he said, he didn't want to be named. So
Yeah, I won't name
Yeah,
him.
but
That was fantastic.
Why don't you make a video about this embarrassing, and then you can put it on Patreon with that paywall. That way, you can't back out after that.
I mean, I really don't think it's that crazy. It's just
It's
I'm not discussing
It's
mine and
just
my
funny
wife's.
because at least in
Bed
our
life.
area and the group of people that I know, it's such an absurd idea. And you're the only person I've ever met that has done it. And
It's
I
not even an
understand.
idea. It's just you're literally. It's something that people do. I guarantee it. Like I want to poll on this on Twitter when we get done. If I ever
So
tell the story,
you won't talk about it.
when I say if I ever tell the story, yeah, like
His cheeks are turning red.
Saul's
He's
over
so
here like,
no,
cute.
it's
"Boy."
only because I'm laughing too much.
Hey, he's so cute.
Because I don't have an issue with talking about it. I'm just not going to talk about mine and my wife's bed life.
No, that's
on
fine.
a podcast that goes among 20
I don't know.
people.
This one could be lined up a bit if people are still even listening.
Yeah, probably around 3 or 4 people now.
Yeah, who knows? Well, Saul, I know you got to get out of here, so that must mean that we probably got to cut this episode short
I mean,
because
I'll
we're already 24 minutes past when you were supposed to leave.
Yeah.
So, what do you think? Wrap this?
Yeah, I'll keep
Wrap
going if
this
I
up?
want.
You want to wrap it up?
You want to double wrap?
You want to double wrap it?
I don't double wrap.
Do you want to?
That's where craziness comes into play.
Hold on, but once you wrap it up and we
Man,
get
that's
done,
twice as
before we get done, do we want to?
That's twice as expensive.
Is that
Blaze is
really,
over here thinking about those fucking lambskin
Yeah,
condoms
'cause-
he has to use. Like, fuck, these things are expensive.
Because I can't wear latex. I put that out there. I can't wear latex. All
That's you though.
It makes my dick itchy.
swells up.
But I'll let y'all keep going if y'all
It
want.
looks like a balloon. I
it's
don't
like-
care.
Tell me when to stop.
Wait, what?
Nothing.
You know what's like? Cause
Is it
this is a
the
dumb
size?
question.
I was about.
You know how people make fun of condoms? The fact that you can blow them up like fucking crazy. Can you do that with a lambskin condom? It's just fucking.
It turns into a lamb, like a fucking balloon animal floating. It just turns into a whole.
You just blow it up and bloop. And does it actually speak? Saul, do you like that?
In the world?
You take that home?
No. I'm gonna hit him with air though.
That air came all the way from China.
Thank
though.
you. That air, Saul just abused this poor skeleton. He beat its head in.
I hope the mics pick that up, Blaze.
You know what? This is the last thing I'm going to leave this with.
Oh my god.
Saul told me the other day that if I put Sweet Baby Ray's on my dick, he said this in a party chat.
I love Sweet Baby Ray's. Oh, now we definitely got to end, Blaze.
No, he has to read the Patreon.
Ah, fuck you. Okay, I'm going to do this through a shirt. Thank you, guys.
Thank you, everybody.
If you stayed through this shit show of an episode. Thanks to our patrons, Dan Barber, Josh Jarrell, Matthew Green. My name is Dan, Douglas Below, Sean Santarud, Eric McAllister. What the fuck did you eat, Blaze? Matt Sycamore, Funk Turkey, Shadowist, Steven Salazar, The Stoner, Travis Below, Eduardo Palomino, Stefan Swanlin, Coy Live, Philip LaGuerre, Corey Hickerson, Brian, Donovan Williams, William Digital Spooker, Derek Porter, Josh Ayers, Brandon Edwards, Sean One Neo, Tyler Powers, and Dylan Kirby. If you would like to support us, which you probably don't at this point, go over to patreon.com/Nartech so that we can pay for Blaze's colon surgery.